5 feet. Sometimes that happens. That's the way the ball bounces. Sometimes technology works, sometimes it doesn't. Again, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom, Pajama Grandma, in one of my favorite grandma hairdos. It is one of my favorite hairdos from corporate America. I worked in very regulated industry, so a lot of times I had to wear my hair up in a hairnet in a helmet, and for a lot of my corporate career. And then I went into the food industry, so I was still in a hairnet, not in a helmet so much, but in a hairnet for, I don't know, 3 decades, a long, 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 long time. So my hair got used to being up a lot. So every once in a while I go back to my braided grandma hairdo. Reminds me of my Aunt Sigrid. She had hair that was down to almost her knees, and she wore it in this giant braid all wrapped around her head like a crown. It was awesome. We were little girls. We got such a kick out of that. So what does that have to do with that's the way the ball bounces? Absolutely, positively nothing. But that's the way the ball bounces is an expression that a lot of us use. And it means things are unpredictable. That's just what happens. That is uncertain. Uncertain things happen, unpredictable things happen, and we just need to deal with them. And what I like to remind myself of is just because the ball bounces a certain way isn't necessarily good or bad. It's just the way the ball bounced, right? It's like focusing on the past. It doesn't do us any good. There's nothing we can do to change what happened in the past. We need to focus on now to create the future that we want. Well, that's the way the ball bounces. It's, an American saying from the 1950s, which is, I wasn't born in the 50s, but I wasn't born long after. So as that saying was catching on, it definitely impacted my life and the lives of those around me. And it still continues to impact us and our culture today. A related saying is, that's the way the cookie crumbles. Now, I like the cookie crumbling one a lot better, because even if a cookie crumbles, it's still delicious, right? It still tastes the same and you can enjoy it. The same is true of that's the way the ball bounces. Think of if you're throwing a ball for a dog or playing fetch or catch or something. Where you throw the ball doesn't necessarily mean the other person's going to catch it. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's whether it lands on the grass or the driveway or the pavement, what way that ball goes and how it bounces, you can't really predict that. Now, okay, my daughter was a pitcher, so she was pretty predictable after thousands and thousands of pitches. But my point is, even a pitcher who's pitched hundreds of thousands of balls can't always 100% predict how that ball is going to go, where that ball is going to bounce. And life is that way, right? My dad used to always tell my sisters and I that life isn't fair. But I got to thinking about that this morning. Okay, really? Is it not fair? Or is it just life is unpredictable? Not life isn't fair. Life isn't predictable. To me, that is a lot more powerful way of looking at the world than life isn't fair, because fair is so subjective. My definition of fair is probably very different than your definition of fair. Now, same with unpredictable, but we know that change is inevitable and life is unpredictable. Things are going to happen. And there's so many things outside of our control in our lives, but also in our businesses, the environment, the economy, other people's choices and decisions and beliefs and thoughts and feelings. There is no way to predict that, right? And yeah, there's studies and indicators in the past can give us some idea of what the future might look like, but all of that really is unpredictable. It's like worrying and fretting about the weather. Now, unless you're in a seasonal business that's dependent on the weather, you're probably not going to be hugely affected by the weather. Every business has seasonality changes and impacts, but we don't have to let them negatively impact our business. They can positively impact our business, right? Who doesn't love a Christmas season or a Christmas sale? Almost every business, with the exception of a couple of industries that I've been in, are huge at Christmas time or are huge at different times of the year. Been in businesses that are seasonal and summer and everything else. But even within that seasonality, there's still a modicum, a lot of sometimes volatility and unpredictability. And we need to learn how to embrace that change and unpredictability and make it part of our lives and our organizations in order to grow and build and supersize our businesses. It's the unpredictability and the inability to actually know with 100% certainty that actually adds the excitement and the curiosity and the juice to life and to businesses, at least to my life and my businesses. If I always know what's going to happen every single day, how boring is that? If we always knew how other people were going to react, how boring is that? And maybe boring is what you want in your business, but it's not what I want in my business. So what do you think about that's the way the ball bounces? That's the way the cookie crumbles. The French say, c'est la vie. That's life. Life isn't fair, whatever. I would love to hear your thoughts on that's the way the ball bounces. I remember junior high, we had to do a bouncing ball routine. And I think that's why the expression, that's why the ball bounces, sort of irritates me. Because I think we always get to choose how we react to everything, knowing that everything is going to be unpredictable. And with that, gives us great personal power and great, the ability to decide what everything means for us. I think that's a lot more fun way of looking at the world than that's just the way it is and we're going to have to just accept it, right? So weigh in on this. Let me know what you think. And then pop in tomorrow and see what other interesting idiom or interesting saying we can think about and decide how does this impact our business? How can we use this to make and create what it is that we want in the world? Have an awesome day. I'll, of course, be with you tomorrow. Bye. Go bounce some balls.